In Melee, there are several mainstream options that dominate the out-of-shield game. Options such as shield grab, shine out of shield, and up B out of shield are all common as well as effective. However, just like anything else in Melee, there's always a way to think outside of the box. This video will focus on 3 unorthodox out-of-shield options that are among the best in the game, despite the fact that they're rarely discussed. The first secret out-of-shield option is Shield SDI and ASDI. Shield SDI and ASDI may seem basic, but they're complicated in the sense that they don't follow some of their traditional rules if they're performed from a shield state. As far as SDI is concerned, being in shield removes your ability to perform quarter circle SDI, which is normally the best SDI method. Quarter circle SDI is performed by SDIing in a cardinal followed by an adjacent diagonal in order to generate 2 SDI inputs. However, if you're in shield, then the second stick motion within this method won't generate SDI. If you intend to attempt SDI multiple times within shield, then the best way is to repeatedly tap horizontally, although you do need to be wary of unintentionally rolling when doing this. As for ASDI, this technique can normally be performed with either the analog stick or C stick, but if you're in shield, then only the analog stick is eligible. ASDI was most likely programmed this way in order to avoid overlap with buffered C stick rolls, but it's something worth noting regardless. Shield SDI and ASDI are underutilized in general. In my last video, which covered shield pressure from Fox and Falco's perspective, I left out the fact that these mechanics are Fox and Falco's worst nightmare. There are plenty of applications for Shield SDI and ASDI against Shine in particular. For example, they can be used to space outside of Shine grab. They can also be used to follow Shine Nair when an attempt to drift away is made. Falco in particular struggles against Shield SDI and ASDI due to his Shine having miserable range, and so these mechanics are highly recommended for escaping in shield pressure. The second secret out-of-shield option is one that's been garnering some attention lately. This option involves deliberately jumping out of shield in order to get hit by Fox's Shine. The anti-Fox jump out of shield is worthwhile for the characters who don't tumble from Shine, which means all of the viable characters except for Fox, Falco, Pikachu, and Jigglypuff. The objective of this option is to cause an air-ground transition, which occurs when your character cancels their hit stun by landing on the ground from mid-air. It'll take your character a couple of frames to reach the ground, and from there landing lag will take 4 frames to complete. This is much better than the alternative of letting Fox shine you across the ground, which leads to approximately 30 frames of hit stun. Furthermore, it's common that you'll catch a Fox player off guard by choosing this option, at which point you can punish them with a dash JC grab. To elaborate on the anti-Fox jump out of shield, this option takes effect on the first frame after jump squat, which means frame 4, 5, or 6 depending on how many frames of jump squat your character has. This lets every character on this list reach a safe point faster than any of their other out-of-shield options would have. The significance of this option is especially noticeable for characters like Captain Falcon, who don't have any fast out-of-shield options. Another tip for making the most of this option is buffering your jump with C-stick up. C-stick jumping out of shield normally isn't too useful because it doesn't give you a reference point for when to time your attack, but in this case it's great since the only goal is to jump. The third and last secret out-of-shield option is ASDI down out of shield, which is one of the most underutilized techniques in the game. ASDI down out of shield is similar to the last technique I showed you in that it involves performing an out of shield option for unintended purposes. The idea here is that by shield grabbing or performing a JC up smash, your character exits the shield state, and so they gain access to ASDI down. This lets them incur 4 frames of landing lag after getting hit, which is always better than the amount of shield stun they would have taken. For example, if Fox or Falco is lunging at you and they've reached the point where their Nair can no longer be intercepted, letting them deep Nair your shield can mean as good as a +0 situation for them, at which point nothing can stop their shine. However, if you intentionally exit shield with a shield grab for the sake of getting hit by Nair, Fox or Falco will be -3 at best since you'll take 4 frames of landing lag to their 7. In the Spacey's ditto, this means that the Spacey who was originally in shield can actually win the situation by using this method and then shining. Something else to note is that the ASDI down out of shield method doesn't just save you frames by replacing shield stun with 4 frames of landing lag, but also by making it so that you don't have to waste time jumping out of shield. For example, Fox and Falco can simply shine after their landing lag as opposed to having to shine out of shield, and so they're able to bypass their jump squat frames. The total amount of lag that's bypassed by this technique is so egregious that it can even be used to counter Peach's FC aerial pressure, which is known for being as good as +4 on shield. Fox or Falco can ASDI down out of shield in order to match Peach's 4 frames of landing lag. From there, Peach is unable to put out anything faster than Shine, which means she loses her advantage in this situation. Another noteworthy usage of ASDI down out of shield is being able to use attacks that normally can't be used out of shield at all. As Sheik, for example, you can shield grab to get hit, then ASDI down and forward tilt. This is a potent out of shield option which comes out on the 5th frame after Sheik's landing lag completes. Finally, the most advanced way to tap into this technique is to roll. The reason rolling is one of the best ways to perform ASDI down out of shield is because it creates an option select where either option is good. The first possible outcome is that your roll goes through and you escape what was an otherwise bad situation. The second possible outcome is that you're hit during roll's 3 startup frames. What you should do from here is option select ASDI down followed by a counterattack of your choice. By following these steps, roll startup frames aren't nearly as vulnerable as they were before, as they can now be used to flip the situation. To recap this video, several of the best out of shield options in Melee aren't necessarily what you'd expect. The first option I went over was shield SDI and ASDI, which is different from regular SDI and ASDI because quarter circle SDI can't be performed from shield and ASDI can't be performed with the C-stick. Despite shield SDI and ASDI's deficits, they're extremely potent options, especially against Fox and Falco. The next out of shield option we went over was the anti-Fox jump out of shield. By deliberately jumping into Fox's shine, all the characters that don't tumble become able to catch Fox off guard in a way that increases their chances of punishing him with dash JC grab as well as other options. Last but not least, ASDI down out of shield is an incredibly powerful option that deserves to be a cornerstone of the metagame. By shield grabbing or JC up smashing with the goal of getting hit, you can ASDI down to incur 4 frames of landing lag rather than shield stun, which is always better in terms of downtime. This also lets you perform options such as shine out of shield without having to incur jump squat, as well as perform options that normally can't be performed out of shield at all. Another way to take advantage of ASDI down out of shield is to option select it from roll's initial 3 vulnerable frames. This creates a very difficult roll to beat, as you'll either perform ASDI down out of shield or have your roll go through successfully. The out of shield options we've gone over may be hidden, but all of them are important to incorporate. Just like most situations in Melee, the shield state offers much more counterplay than meets the eye, and so it's good to keep your opponent on their toes through the use of these options. If you found this video helpful, make sure to pre-order the 1.03 memory card that Altimore and I are developing. 1.03 is coming out very shortly and will change the game forever.